Even though the ratings were up, even though the talent level was up, they had done such damage, especially to the Carolinas. As soon as TBS bought the company, they pulled out most of the Carolinas' live dates. Greensboro, for a pay-per-view, only did $86,000. The next night we did TV taping in Beckley, West Virginia. We got $200. A taping in Altoona, which we'll get to in a second, $275. Fort Bragg, North Carolina did $42,000. They actually gave us $250. But Amarillo, we went to Amarillo for $22,000. The houses were horrible compared to what they had been. Both George Scott and Ole wanted to use the same guys that drew them money 15 years beforehand. Instead of doing the same things with new talent, you've always got to get the new talent over. But you can recycle the angles, but you can't recycle the fucking talent.
How's he to deal with if you have a concern about something?
Easy. Say, Ole, I'm really worried about this. Well, fuck off.
That's it, right.
Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin was a worst fucking heel team I've ever seen in my life. Jimmy Garvin had spent 10 years very successfully being a chicken shit pretty boy heel, and suddenly he's 5'9" and 205 and on the sauce and trying to work like one of the Road Warriors. And it hurt people's feelings. It was so fucking bad. We were thinking, what can we call him? What can we call him? And Terry Funk said, what about Mark Callous? Like he's callous and cruel. And, you know, it's okay. Works for us. And so at least we had one skyscraper that would fucking listen. They all agreed to it, right? And then Ole walks off and everybody shakes hands. I went to shake Spivey's hand and he just looked at me like, and walked off. So I'd just like to say to you now, Danny, I've never seen you since then because you're nobody, nowhere, but fuck you just for being a fucking prick to everybody you were working with at that point in time because you thought you were goddamn Superman and the matches fucking stunk. These guys shouldn't even have been on television. I would have fired them. I'm not saying this because it's Kevin Nash. If they had been in OVW, I would have fired them because they were rotten. They were rotten for a wrestling school. The second match that aired on January 7th did a 3.2 rating and a 5.0 share. That was 1,667,000 homes. I have the official TBS printout, by the way, here, which was the highest rated Sunday night TBS main event show since, you guessed it, the December 3rd show, where the first Flair and Eaton match. Doug Dillinger, love him to death, former Charlotte cop, Crockett cameraman that they had hired to be the head of security, grabbed Sting and he didn't know how to work. Doug wasn't a worker. He really pulls fucking Sting off the cage. Sting drops, tears his fucking ACL. Oh, Jesus Christ. And now what do we do?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
How fucked are you at this point?
We were fucked.
Yeah.
Next morning we get to the airport. He said, well, I can't remember what his exact words were, but basically, unless one of us can squat down and shit out a top babyface superstar, we're switching Luger. Okay, that's what we got to do. We were doing the Q&A after one of his comedy club shows.
On WWE TV?
No.
Okay.
There was a fucking girl in Spartanburg, South Carolina, that at the age of 16 looked like Anna Nicole Smith. She was 6 feet tall and probably weighed 170 pounds, and if her mother had found out what she had done in Spartanburg, let's just say this, in 1986, Jim Crockett Promotions would have closed down. And I'm talking about everybody probably except Ric Flair. So we had to figure out somehow he could be involved in a meaningful way, and they came up with the idea that there would be a cage at ringside because he could spread the fake bars. So that's why I ended up getting put in that fucking cage at ringside, so there would be a cage sitting there. There was a purpose for the cage sitting there. They fucked our match up.
You were there to get RoboCop
I was there to get RoboCop over. So I threw the belts up in the air and I took both hands. And then he sold a second one. And he goes down in the front row and I just keep whacking him until somebody gets there to get in between us. Right? So I fucking then grab the shit and we go back to the locker room.
Now, before you get back to locker,
okay.
When you're squaring off with him, do you have any indication that he's mentally handicapped? No. Or do you just assume that all wrestling fans are?
Well, no, he's a big fucking 6 foot, 190 pound fucking 40-year-old fucking redneck from Columbia, South Carolina. It's not like he's visibly.
All right,
I later found out he was mentally challenged, let's put it that way. And I'm fucking scared shitless because it's New York and we ain't used to that shit, right? And I mean, this was not a good neighborhood and we're locked out of, and we're standing next to a limousine that we're locked out of, and there's Frances Crockett. Looked like, goddamn, she dressed up like she had charged the Light Brigade. She was the world's oldest fucking hooker, and it just, it was fucking, what's the matter with you?